Hey, we're here at the Automate Show, and I'm here with Andy from Formic. Andy, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what Formic does?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we are here to do is ultimately take down all the barriers to automation that folks have been hesitant to jump into the automation industry for. So ultimately, we front end support all of your automation needs, and then we rent those back to you on an hourly rate on the back end.
So, what are the typical hesitations that you encounter as businesses enter into this mode of doing things?
No, that's a perfect question. Basically, what's really unique is that every customer says, well, we've never heard of this. And that's really exactly why we exist. So the biggest hesitation is how and why, and really just grasping the concept through their entire operation. You know, it's not just the production team, it's finance and maintenance and engineering and how that affects the whole team when they work with us.
For sure. Why don't you describe to me, what's a typical business before they come across your company, and then what's different about the company once they've adopted Formic?
These are all great questions. Yeah, so ultimately, we focused on the small and medium folks to begin with, right? Our core business model is those companies who have never automated. What we've really seen is this explosion of all interests from all segments. So even the Fortune 500 companies who have a specific initiative to reduce CapEx come looking to better understand our model and how it could fit within their needs as well. But it's really those small to medium companies who maybe don't have a strong engineering team, haven't quite jumped into automation, so they don't know where to start. That's really, I would say that's the core of our business.
Okay. A lot of what I've seen from the software in this space is that it's quite fragmented. You've got a lot of, proprietary software, vendor-specific software, stuff like that. How do you navigate this landscape and integrate with so many distinct siloed players?
It's a very good question. So what makes us unique is we are agnostic from a hardware perspective. So we're willing to be very flexible with who we do work with, because that helps grow our business segment and our partnership segment, but it also makes things difficult from an integration and a support side on the back end. So we do, when we say we're agnostic, we don't want to pick up everybody and their brothers hardware and software, but we really want to focus on what's successful, what's reliable, because we are owning that risk at the end of the day as well. So I think we're still navigating how to successfully and easily kind of tie all those things together.
For sure. Is this something that is like a purely SaaS subscription model? Is that what you're going for?
Well, what we're looking at is RaaS here. It's robots as a service or automation as a service, but we don't really talk about that acronym as much. So I think the generality of the subscription model is starting to come about, right? I mean, when customers struggle to understand it, I quickly kind of go to cell phone plans that had rollover minutes, because you expect a minimum monthly payment even if you're not completely utilizing it, but then you never lose that time because we accrue it and you can use it month after month ultimately.
Also, I saw that your pricing was very interesting, because I've heard some numbers thrown around here and stuff like that of what the entry cost is of some of these things, and you had an $8 printed over there. So tell me a little bit about that entry point and how customers react to that, because from what I've seen, that's quite atypical.
Yes, absolutely. So $8 an hour is on the very attractive side of things, of course. But what we do is we really look to understand the customer's automation journey, where they're at in that journey, and then we work on the pricing and the length of the agreement to best fit what they need. So if it's a very short term, because they don't know what their production looks like 2 years from now, we flex that direction. Or if it's very specifically what is that minimum hourly rate, we can stretch that out and make it look a little more attractive from an hourly perspective. But at the end of the day, the customers are ultimately paying for performance of the equipment. So what's unique about how we operate is we put performance metrics into our agreements up front. So if the system isn't meeting performance, we're out there fixing it. We're making sure it's running to the expectations, or else you're not paying that hourly rate for it.
For sure. So what are some developments that you've seen, or trends that excite you about the space that you're in right now?
I love to see new competitors, because that means you're doing something right. Formic came to the game. It was early on. People didn't know what we were doing. But as you walk this floor, you can see a lot of RaaS. But people aren't quite doing it how we are, but they're intrigued and they're trying to catch up. So.
All right, great. So if folks are interested, what's the best way to get in touch?
Formic.co is the best way, or hi@formic.co if you want to email us directly.
All right, thank you so much, and stay tuned for more coverage from the Automate Show.